fifth graders, Mr. Kazel here, fifth grade teacher over at Franklin Elementary. Today's video is going to be providing you with some opportunity to multiply fractions, quite possibly on some of your minute maths or maybe daily lessons you've had or mini lessons you've had in class. You've had an opportunity to multiply fractions before, but I am going to go through a lesson here on the whiteboard that you'll be able to follow along. Pause the video as needed. I'd encourage you to have a piece of paper so you can take notes as you follow along with the problems I do. Hello, fifth graders. Mr. Kazel here. We are going to be talking about how to multiply fractions. Just a reminder, as we look at these first two fractions, our top number right here, our 1, is referred to as the numerator. Our bottom number, our down number, is referred to as our denominator. The nice thing about multiplying fractions is as long as we have a fraction, all we need to do is multiply our numerators together. So I'm taking 1 times 1, which is 1. Then I'm taking 3 times 3 on my denominators, which is 9. My answer is 1/9. I ask myself, is 1/9 in simplest form? And the answer is yes, it is. So I have 1/9. If you move down to our next example, I have 1/4 times 4/5. Again, I'm going to multiply my numerators together. 1 times 4 is 4. Multiplying my denominators together, 4 times 5 is 20. I have 4 over 20, but I ask myself, is this in simplest form? And the answer is no, it is not. I can divide each of these by 4. So I'm taking 4 divided by 4, which is 1, and then 20 divided by 4, which is 5. So my answer is 1/5. Now, if you look at the next example, you'll notice that I have the exact same fraction down here. I wanted to show you something that you'll be able to use, which is called cross-canceling, and that's where you look at opposite numerator to denominator and opposite numerator to denominator, looking to see if they have anything in common. If you look at the 1 and the 5, you'll notice they have nothing in common except for 1. But if you look at the 4 and 4, we can divide each of these by 4, and in doing that, these become 1. Now when we multiply across, we have 1 times 1, which is 1, and 1 times 5, which is 5. So I get an answer of 1/5. So that may be something that some of you may want to try, is to look and see if we can cross cancel. On to our next examples, we have a whole number times a fraction. And in this particular case, we know when we have a whole number, we can put a 1 underneath it because 3 divided by 1 is 3. And so in this case, I'm going to multiply straight across my numerators. 3 times 1 is 3. Multiplying my denominators, 1 times 4 is 4. I have an answer of 3/4. I ask myself, is that in simplest form? Yes, it is. So my answer is 3/4. Again, I put a 1 underneath. Multiplying my numerators, 5 times 5 is 25. 7 times 1 is 7. Now I have an improper fraction. If you recall from our last unit, our last module in Eureka Math, we have an improper fraction and we need to make that a mixed number. So we're taking 25 divided by 7. How many times is 7 going to 25? 3 times. 7 times 3 is 21. When I take 21 away from 25, I get 4. My remainder becomes my numerator, and my divisor, which is 7, becomes my... So I have 3 and 4/7. Moving down to the next problem, we have 1/6 times 6. We put a 1 underneath. We multiply straight across numerators. 1 times 6 is 6. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. Looking at this problem here at the bottom, it's the same problem again. Again, we'll look to cross cancel. Our 6's can each be divided by 6, so this becomes 1 and this becomes 1. We multiply straight across, we get 1. Multiply our denominator straight across, we get 1. And 1 divided by 1 is 1. All right, fifth graders, hopefully that lesson provided you with an opportunity to do some practice on how to multiply fractions. Your teachers have provided you some resources that you can use to practice. Best of luck and hope everyone is staying safe.